Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to meeting number 556 of the Town of Grand Falls-Windsor Council. Before we get into the regular order of business tonight, we do have a couple of proclamations that I'll take care of and read into the record. The first one is for International Women's Day, which is March 8th, 2022. Whereas International Women's Day is celebrated around the world by those who believe in gender equity and who seek to improve lives of all women and girls, trans and cis, two-spirit and gender diverse peoples through cultural, political, economic, and social change. We proclaim this day, March 8th, to celebrate and encourage bold actions that support our 2022 theme of Break the Bias, hashtag. Whereas imagine a gender equal world, a world free of bias, stereotypes, and discrimination, a world that's diverse, equitable, and inclusive, a world where difference is valued and celebrated. Together we can forge women's equality. Whereas International Women's Day is a time to envision a world where each woman and girl can exercise their choices, such as participating in politics, getting an education, having an income, and living in societies free from violence and discrimination. Therefore, I, Barry Manuel, Mayor of the Town of Grand Falls-Windsor, do hereby proclaim March 8th, 2022 to be International Women's Day. Second proclamation is for Easter Seals Month. It's whereas approximately 100,000 people of all ages in our province live with disabilities such as physical, sensory, cognitive, or other disabilities which present barriers to full participation in society. Whereas Easter Seals Newfoundland and Labrador is a charitable organization with a vision for a community where all people with disabilities live full, healthy, and active lives. A mission to engage, inspires, and maximizes opportunities for people with disabilities of all ages by providing meaningful programs and services. Whereas Easter Seals Newfoundland's recreation programs help those with disabilities explore what they can do through independence camps, art, music therapy, and adaptive sports, promoting full, active, healthy, socially engaged lifestyles. Whereas Easter Seals Newfoundland offers career and educational services to assist those with barriers to employment transition successfully from home and school into adulthood and independence with a focus on preparing for, obtaining, and maintaining gainful employment. Whereas Easter Seals Newfoundland, I Can Too, disability awareness program activities foster disability awareness and sensitivity and provide tools for accessibility and inclusion. Therefore, with the support of the Council, Town of Grand Falls-Windsor, I sign this proclamation and declare the month of March in 2022 to be observed throughout the town as Easter Seals Month. I call upon all citizens of the town to support this worthy charitable organization and the people of all ages and disabilities it serves. Sign both those, and we'll now get into the regular order of business. So I'll move the meeting to start. And the first order of business is the adoption of the minutes from meeting number 555. Any errors or omissions? Hearing none, I'll need a mover and a seconder.
So move.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Brown.
Councillor Cody, second.
Seconded by Councillor Cody. Any discussion on the previous meeting's minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Contrary minded? Motion carried. Any business arising out of the minutes? No business arising. We'll move on to the disbursement report. Councillor Dwyer, please.
Thank you, Mayor Manuel. I move the disbursement report dated February 24th, 2022 in the amount of $1,290,006.26.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Dwyer,
Second.
seconded by Councillor Little. Any discussion on the disbursement report? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Contrary minded? Motion carried. Moving on into committee reports. First up is Community Services. Deputy Mayor Brown, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Community Services Committee met on 5 p.m. Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022. Those in attendance were myself as chair, Councillor Holly Dwyer, Councillor Andrew Little, Councillor Amy Cody, Councillor Bob Hiscock, Councillor Dave Knoll. Staff in attendance were Darren Finn, our Chief Administrative Officer, Tab Mercer, our Manager of Leisure Services, and Sarah McIntosh, our Leisure Services Coordinator. First order of business was programs and special events. Manager of Leisure Services and the Leisure Services Coordinator gave the committee an overview of the programs and special events the Community Services Department have planned for this year. As the COVID restrictions continue to lessen, staff are starting plans for many of our pre-COVID programs and events. Sarah and Todd were excused from the meeting at 6:30 p.m. Salmon Festival. The director informed the committee many of the Newfoundland and Labrador entertainers are booking up quickly for this summer, as the Newfoundland Labrador Come Home Here announcement has generated a lot of interest in summer concert bookings. The committee recommends staff go ahead and book the entertainment for this year's Salmon Festival, ensuring we stay within the proposed budget and we utilize Newfoundland and Labrador entertainers. Halibut correspondence. The committee discussed correspondence from the Halibut First Nation regarding the development of an MOU between Halibut First Nation and the town, highlighting possible future partnership initiatives and the development of Indigenous interpretation at the town's development at Gorge Park. The committee recommends staff continue to work with the province and the Halibut First Nation on this partnership. The Excite building. The director updated the committee on the status of the request from Central Health to utilize rental space at the Excite building. The committee recommends staff continue to work with Central Health to utilize this rental space for health innovation. Sliding Hill officially opening. The committee discussed the date for the Sliding Hill official opening. The committee recommends staff keep an eye on the weather forecast and to plan an official opening in March as soon as the weather permits. Health Court NL Community Coalition Committee update. The director presented the committee with a copy of the minutes from the first meeting their committee had on January 13th, 2022. Their committee will continue to meet regularly and report back to council with any developments. High Street mural. Deputy Mayor Brown informed the committee of discussions he had with a citizen regarding the condition of the mural on the concrete wall on High Street. The committee recommends the director contact the citizen to investigate options to repair or replace the mural. The meeting adjourned at 7:30 p.m. and I move recommendations and report of this committee.
Okay, it's been moved by Deputy Mayor Brown. Looking for a seconder.
Councillor Hiscock, second.
Seconded by Councillor Hiscock. Any discussion, comment on the community services minutes? Councillor Little.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one point there. Deputy Mayor Brown talked about the presentation we had from Todd Mercer and Sarah McIntosh with the programs. And I've actually gotten some feedback today on the one program, the Mommy and Me program. And the new mother was very, very pleased with the first day of that program, and very happy about how everything was going on. And she's saying how great it was to get out because, well, she hasn't really been out with her 7-month-old baby yet because of all the COVID stuff. So she was thrilled that this program was being offered, and I think a lot of credit belongs to or should go to Todd Mercer and Sarah McIntosh for these programs. There's a bunch of really good programs. I think some are still available for people to sign up for if they so choose. I'm not sure if they're all still available. I think some might be full, but I think there's still some available. People still want to sign up. But these events are what fosters that community spirit that we strive towards and wish for our community. And I'm grateful, and I think many other people are grateful that these programs exist. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Little. Yeah, certainly good to see any minutes that reflect that we're getting back into the swing of things, come home year and a lot of different activities planned. We talked many times about the success of some of the events we had pre-COVID, and we look forward to getting back into that. And you're right when you say that people are anxious to get out and take part in programs. And you mentioned mommy and me, or baby and me, I can't remember now. My daughter and granddaughter are also involved in that and spoke very highly of it. But it's great that we got a wide range of programs, for all ages and abilities. And really, council have been focused many years now on what we feel is quality of life initiatives. And when we talk about the future of our community, or industry, jobs, the economy, tax base, all those things are affected by the fact that we can provide a good quality of life, because we like to think that if and when a professional has a choice of where they would want to move, that Grand Falls-Windsor would be high on the list because of those programs and events that we have, and the different recreational infrastructure that exists, like walking trails, ski trails, the arenas, and so forth. So very important that we continue to do that and have those not only programs for adults to get out and enjoy, but also the kids as young as young babies. So I'm glad you acknowledged that, and it certainly is good. Councillor Dwyer.
Thank you, Mayor. Just with respect to the Grand Falls-Windsor Community Health Care Coalition, there was a press release issued on Friday past, and it's on our website. And on our Facebook page. I would encourage everyone to have a look at that. We have another meeting scheduled for this Thursday, and the coalition is also going to be updating council tomorrow as well. So I know that there were interviews on CBC Morning Show yesterday, I believe. Cyril Farrell did it. VOCM, I think the mayor was involved in that one as well. Central Voice and NTV News last night as well. So I would encourage everyone to take a look at and follow everything that is up and coming with respect to what the coalition is doing, what they're advocating for. Also, if anyone has any concerns or suggestions, there is an email, gfwhealthcoalition@gmail.com, and you can send any and all concerns there. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that, Councillor Dwyer. Mr. Finn has his hand up. Go ahead, there.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to note, for the sake of housekeeping, that Keith Antle, Director of Community Services, was in attendance at that meeting, but he's not listed in the minute. So we'll make that adjustment, unless I'm not recalling that correctly.
Okay, we can note that difference. I believe the director's responsible for doing the minutes, isn't he? Would you forget yourself, Mr. Antle? So if he was in attendance and not showing, of course, we will fix that. So thanks for pointing that out. Any other comments, questions, etc. on the community services minutes? Hearing none, we got a mover and a seconder. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Okay, next up is corporate services. Councillor Dwyer, please.
Thank you, Mayor. The following are the minutes for corporate services held 5 p.m. Thursday, February 24th, 2022. Present were myself as chairperson, members Councillor Amy Cody Davis, Deputy Mayor Mike Brown, Councillor Bob Hiscock, Councillor Andrew Little. Staff in attendance were Darren Finn, our Chief Administrative Officer, Robin Hannaford, our Communications Officer, Steve Goss, Director of Corporate Services, and Nelson Chapman, Director of Public Works and Development, joined the meeting at this time as well. Land sales policy. The staff provided the committee with analysis on possible changes to the land sales policy and its impact on future revenues. The committee recommends that council review the documents and bring it back to the committee of the whole for further discussions. Enterprise fleet management. Staff provided an overview of the services offered by Enterprise Fleet Management as procured by the CNU procurement program. The committee recommends staff to set up a virtual meeting with Enterprise Fleet Management to further discuss. Nelson Chapman, Director of Public Works and Development, was excused from the meeting at 6 p.m. Labor report. The committee reviewed the labor costs as of week 8 Total labor was $469,936. This was $40,239, or 7.9% under budget. The committee is pleased with the early results of the labor budget and recommends that staff continue to monitor labor costs moving forward. Disbursement report. The committee reviewed the disbursement report in the amount of $1,290,006.26 and recommends this be presented at the next council meeting. Youth Advisory Committee. The committee reviewed a draft Youth Advisory Committee terms of reference. The committee suggested some changes that it would like staff to incorporate and bring back to a future committee meeting. Heritage Advisory Committee. The committee reviewed a draft Heritage Advisory Committee terms of reference. The committee recommends this terms of reference be approved and that staff contact the Heritage Society to start forming a committee. Key performance indicators. The Director of Corporate Services / Town Clerk outlined 4 key performance indicators for Council's consideration. These key performance indicators will be used moving forward to measure performance as compared to previous years and used to set goals. The committee recommends these key performance indicators to be approved as proposed. The committee is looking forward to further discussion on the information provided by these key performance indicators. Federation of Canadian Municipalities Annual Conference and Trade Show 2022. The committee reviewed the application information for the upcoming Federation of Canadian Municipalities Annual Conference and Trade Show. The committee recommends that any councillor interested in attending this conference should contact staff as soon as possible to let them know. The meeting adjourned at 7 p.m. and I move the recommendations and report of this committee.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Dwyer,
Seconded by Councillor Knoll.
seconded by Councillor Knoll. Any discussion on the corporate services minutes? See Councillor Dwyer with your hand raised. Go ahead.
Yeah, with respect to the key performance indicators, the 4 that were presented were total taxation as a percentage of total assessment or taxation growth, average tax per household income, and asphalt and concrete production and debt service ratio. And I believe what we talked about was adding accounts receivable to that list. As something that we would be looking at regularly going forward as a key performance indicator.
Yeah, Councillor Dwyer is correct. And unless Steve would like to comment, so that will be an indicator that will be part of the 4 we identified.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, and Councillor Dwyer, that has been updated on the attachment that you would see in the package.
Awesome. Okay, thanks.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Dwyer, for providing that additional detail. Any other comments or questions regarding the corporate services minutes? Hearing none, get a mover and a seconder. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Okay, next up is Public Works and Development. Councillor Cody, please.
Thank you, Mayor. The Public Works and Development Committee met on Tuesday, March 1st at 7:10 p.m. In attendance, myself as the chairperson, Deputy Mayor Mike Brown, Councillor Bob Hiscock, Mayor Barry Manuel, Councillor Holly Dwyer, Councillor Andrew Little, Councillor Dave Knoll. Staff included Darren Finn, Chief Administrative Officer, Steve Goss, Director of Corporate Services, Town Clerk, Keith Antle, Director of Community Services, and Nelson Chapman, Director of Public Works and Development. Rezoning request for 14 Church Road. The committee reviewed the correspondence received concerning the rezoning request for 14 Church Road. The request was to rezone the from residential to commercial neighborhood to accommodate the establishment of a cafe. Several responses were received, and the main concerns were adequate parking for the business, the potential increase in litter, and others believed there were other commercial areas downtown that could be used. The committee recommends staff meet with the applicant to discuss these issues to ensure the citizens' concerns are addressed. Also, it is important that all regulations are reviewed thoroughly to ensure all requirements are met before moving forward. Crown Lands Referral, Grenfell Heights. The residents of 262 Grenfell Heights requested the committee reconsider their Crown Lands application to use a section of land between Grenfell Heights and the Trans-Canada Highway for development of hay. As the zoning in this area of the town is for future residential development and the proposed use is not permitted in this zone, the application was denied in a previous meeting. The committee recommends the earlier decision be upheld as the request is in contravention of the regulations. Sewer flushing inspection policy. The committee discussed the current sewer flushing inspection policy and some proposed changes that would help clarify some language. The committee recommends this be brought to a future committee meeting to be discussed further. Resolutions, municipal plan review. The committee reviewed the latest update of the municipal plan review. The Local Governance and Land Use Planning Division requires that the flood zone mapping 120 and 100-year flood that was completed in 2021 by the Water Resources Management Division be added to the municipal plan and future land use map, and to the Development Regulations land use zoning map. Therefore, the resolutions and mapping have been amended to comply with this requirement. The committee recommends these resolutions be presented at the next public council meeting. Gorge Park development. The committee was presented with the latest concept drawings of the Gorge Park development. The consultant requires feedback to continue with the design. The committee recommends all council review the drawings and provide feedback to the Director of Public Works and Development, who will address any issues or concerns with the consultant. The meeting adjourned at 8:35 p.m., and I move the recommendations and the report of this committee.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Cody. We have a mover and looking for a seconder for the Public Works minutes.
Councillor Dwyer.
Deputy Mayor.
Seconded
go
by
ahead.
Councillor Dwyer. Any discussion on the Public Works and Development minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye.
All right.
Aye.
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 Contrary minded? Just to be clear, that there was nobody contrary minded, was there?
I didn't hear anybody, Mayor.
No, I take that as a no. I know it's hard sometimes as people are chiming in there to the timing is off a bit, so I just wanted to make sure we clarified that. Okay, so you did refer to a couple of resolutions that needed to be presented, Councillor Cody, so I'll ask you to deal with those now, please.
Thank you. GFW 2022-337, Town of Grand Falls-Windsor resolution to approve integrated community sustainability municipal plan. And just want to note there's an error there in the spelling of plan, so we'll get that corrected. 2022 to 2032. Under the authority of Section 16, Section 17, and Section 18 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, the Town Council of Grand Falls-Windsor adopted the Town of Grand Falls-Windsor Integrated Community Sustainability Municipal Plan 2022 to 2032 on the first day of June 2021. Gave notice of the adoption of the Development Regulations 2022 to 2032 for the Town of Grand Falls-Windsor by notification of the adoption of the plan and regulations, and to advise of the public hearing. The notice was placed in the town hall and other municipal buildings, posted on the town's Facebook and Twitter pages, as well as being posted in the news section of the town's website as per provincial government COVID-19 protocol regarding public hearings. Set the 9th day of July 2021 for the receipt of submissions for a non-physical public hearing for objections and submissions to submit to the Public Hearing Commissioner. accepted the report of the Commissioner dated August 29th, 2021 for the public hearing for the Town of Grand Falls-Windsor Integrated Community Sustainability Municipal Plan 2022 to 2032. Now, under the authority of Section 23 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, the Town Council of Grand Falls-Windsor approves the Integrated Community Sustainability Municipal Plan 2022-2032 as amended. The addition of new flood risk mapping 2021 provided by the Water Resources Management Division, the 1 in 20-year current climate condition and 1 in 100-year future climate condition flood lines on the future land use map. And I so move.
Okay, is proposed by Councillor Cody. For a seconder on the resolution.
Deputy Mayor Brown.
Okay, seconded by Deputy Mayor Brown. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Time to remind it. Resolution passed. Okay, Councillor Cody, if you could take care of number 2, please.
Sure, thank you. GFW 2022-338, Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, resolution to approve the Town of Grand Falls-Windsor Development Regulations 2022 to 2032. Under the authority of Section 16, Section 17, and Section 18 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, the Town Council of Grand Falls-Windsor gave notice of the adoption of the Development Regulations 2022-2032 for the Town of Grand Falls-Windsor by notification of the adoption of the plan and regulations, and to advise of the public hearing. The notice was placed in the Town Hall and other municipal buildings posted on the town's Facebook and Twitter pages, as well as being posted in the news section of the town's website as per the provincial government COVID-19 protocol regarding public hearings. Set the 9th day of July 2021 for the receipt of submissions for a non-physical public hearing for the Town of Grand Falls-Windsor Development Regulations 2022 to 2032. Accepted the report of the Commissioner dated August 29th, 2021 for the public hearing for the Town of Grand Falls-Windsor Development Regulations 2022 to 2032. Now, under the authority of Section 23 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, the Town Council of Grand Falls-Windsor approves the Development Regulations 2022 to 2032 for the Town of Grand Falls-Windsor as amended with the changes attached. And I so move.
Okay, it's been proposed by Councillor Cody.
Councillor Little, second.
Seconded by Councillor Little. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Time to remind it. Resolution passed. Okay, next up is the Committee of the Whole meeting. Deputy Mayor Brown, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Committee of the Whole met 5 p.m. Tuesday, March 1st, 2022. Those in attendance were myself as chair, Mayor Barry Emanuel, Councillor Amy Cody, Councillor Holly Dwyer, Councillor Bob Hiscock, Councillor Andrew Little, and Councillor Dave Knoll. Staff in attendance were Darren Finn, our Chief Administrative Officer, Steve Goss, our Director of Corporate Services, Keith Antle, our Director of Community Services, and Nelson Chapman, our Director of Public Works and Development. First order of business was support for Federal Bill C-229. The committee reviewed a request from MP Peter Julian to support his private member's bill that bans the use of symbols of hate. The committee recommends that council support this request and send a supportive email to the MP. Urban Municipalities Committee, UMC, and a request to host. The committee discussed a request from M&L to host an upcoming meeting. The UMC is a committee of municipalities that have a population greater than 3,000 who meet periodically to discuss issues of common interest. The committee recommends that the town agree to hosting a future UMC committee meeting and that staff will work with M&L to coordinate. Land sales policy review. The committee reviewed the land sales policy and recommended the policy be updated with commercial land priced at $22.25 per square meter. This represents a reduction in land pricing of approximately 40%. The committee also recommended that metric be used when describing units of land and that pricing adjustments be available for undeveloped and/or unserviced land that is unsuitable for development or is contaminated. The committee recommends that the new policy be approved as presented. Enterprise fleet management. The committee discussed a fleet management program offered by Enterprise Fleet Management. This company manages light vehicle fleets for many companies and government bodies across North America. Their ability to offer services in Atlantic Canada is new and has been enabled through the National Municipal Purchasing Program called CANOE. The use of CANOE is also approved by the provincial government. The committee recommends that management work towards finalizing an agreement with Enterprise Fleet Management to initially replace up to 33 light vehicles by 2026 and to more frequently replace them thereafter as per the program and direction from the town. Salmon Festival. The committee discussed ongoing plans for the Salmon Festival. The committee recommends that staff continue with this planning and provide more updates in the next council meeting. Municipal enforcement. Council discussed activity reports from the Department of Municipal Enforcement and recommends that management undertake planning that is necessary to improve enforcement activity and to improve visibility across the community. Grand Falls House. The committee looked for an update on the transfer of the Grand Falls House and land. Staff reported that discussions were slow but ongoing. As well, staff reported that it intends to enter a transfer agreement with the Grand Falls House Foundation, who will oversee, care, and manage the property on behalf of the town once the town obtains possession of the property from the provincial government. It is also understood that the Grand Falls House Foundation will need some temporary financial support, but their needs are not fully known. The committee recommends that staff continue working with the provincial government to finalize this transfer. The meeting adjourned at 7:11 p.m. and I move recommendations and report of this committee.
Okay, it's been moved by Deputy Mayor Brown. Looking for a seconder.
Councillor Hiscock, second.
Seconded by Councillor Hiscock. Any discussion on the committee of the whole minutes? Mr. Finn, you got your hand up?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, for letting me jump in. I just wanted to acknowledge to council, everybody that's on this call, participating in the meeting, that the live stream that we did have through Rogers is not functioning, so it's not being broadcast out the meeting. However, our meeting is being recorded and will be made available as soon as possible. So our recommendation is that we continue on with the meeting because I don't know how long it would take to fix it, and that we make the recording available as soon as possible following the meeting. So I just wanted to share that news with everybody in case you're not aware, and I guess the message would be kind of mute for those in the public that are not able to hear it right now from me, but they would understand that we recognized it in the meeting when they see the recording later on.
Yep, okay, thanks for that, Darren. As you mentioned, we'll continue and make that recording available as soon as possible so the meeting can be viewed in its entirety. Councillor Dwyer.
Thank you, Mayor. Just with respect to Salmon Festival, I had been approached by a resident who saw something on Facebook regarding Salmon Festival and Come Home Year. and that there were grants available, and that the town of Grand Falls-Windsor hadn't applied for any grants, but we certainly weren't able to apply under the 400,000 because it was for funding for small communities, but we certainly did apply under a category that we were eligible for, and so we're hoping that that will be approved soon.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's safe to say, when it comes to funding availability and being proactive, town of Grand Falls-Windsor is very much so, and staff are on top of all the grant opportunities, big and small, and they come from all over. And we apply multiple times every year for funding and have been relatively successful in that as well. So staff do a good job, but it's good that you would clarify that point, because we know how sometimes on Facebook things get thrown out there that may not be accurate. But anyways, Councillor Little.
Thank you, Mayor. In regards to the land sales policy review that we were discussing in that meeting, I think it is a substantial step that we've taken to reduce the price of that land by 40%. And I think it does signify that Grand Falls-Windsor is open for business, and we are encouraging business to move here. And we're hoping to get some businesses up on that area of town that, right now it might be a little barren, but I think there's a lot of opportunity there. And with this reduction in price, I'm very hopeful that something will end up on the Maloney Street area soon. Thank you.
Yep, thank you, Councillor Little, and certainly is a big reduction and a good idea. And I know staff did a lot of work behind the scenes on that to get us to this point. So as you said, we're open for business and open for communicating with prospective businesses or current businesses. And we look forward to that paying dividends in the future and seeing additional businesses move into town. Okay, any other discussion or comment on the committee of the whole minutes? Councillor Little, I assume that you still got your hand up, or did you have something else?
Sorry, yeah, I left it up.
Okay, no problem. All right, so hearing none, I will call for a vote. We got a mover and a seconder. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Contrary minded? Motion carried. Okay, any notice of motion? Okay, no notice of motion. We'll move to other business. And I'll admit, I forget again where we started last time. A note on my pad at the council chambers, but obviously being virtual tonight, someone want to remind me where we started last time, if you do recall?
I think you started with Councillor Cody last time, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what I thought too, but I wasn't sure. So we'll go with that. And in that case, Councillor Noel, you're up first.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have any new business this evening. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Hiscock.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of points, if I may. One is, of course, everybody knows since our last council meeting, we went through about 55 centimeters of snow. Then we had about 40 millimeters of rain. And then we had freezing. And of course, our infrastructure took quite a pounding, as everybody knows, with broken water lines, plugged sewer lines, flooding, whatever the case may be. But I'd just like to give a big shout out to our management and our staff, certainly, for the great job they did of getting our infrastructure back up and running with minimum delays in the process. So a great big shout out to them. I know they worked in very, very trying circumstances. Also, Mr. Mayor, if I may, it's so great to hear the Salmon Festival is back on to go again. We're in discussions. Also was going to be there with local entertainment, Newfoundland entertainment. Talking to a few people in the last week or so, word is starting to get out again now, and people are just so happy. They're excited about it after 2 years of COVID. people are just wanting to get out of the house. And of course, come home, you're on top of it. Everybody's really, really excited. And hats off to our committees, Keith and his staff, doing a great job trying to put all this together. And a lot of people just can't wait for that to happen. And finally, Mr. Mayor, if I may, the residents, I guess, know now we received our new pumper at a cost of just over $713,000. And our town, of course, is, bringing up all of our firefighting equipment to standards, and just to give the best service and protection to our residents, as we always have, under the direction, of course, of Chief McKenzie and our firefighters. So thanks for the opportunity, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hiscock, and I guess is a good chance to put a plug in for the fire department and their recruitment efforts. And I know that they're looking to recruit new members now, so offhand, I wouldn't be able to give you the contact information, but Chief McKenzie, I'm sure, is available through various means, or you can call the town hall and get the information. Anybody interested, there is an application process in that can be gotten from the department. And as we've said many, many times, and rightly so, we've got an excellent department. For a department that is a volunteer department, it's as professional and as effective as any around, and that includes all the professional ones. So a good thing to get into if you're looking for something to do for your community, and sure that information would be available if you would like to do so. Okay, Councillor Little.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have much here this evening. One thing that came to me today was a question from a couple citizens, which and I didn't know this information, and maybe it is available and they just didn't know, but it's about the garbage and recycling. They're wondering why, what would happen if they didn't separate the garbage and recycling, and basically, and I told them, and this is the reason I'm bringing it up, is because I want to make sure that if someone else is watching that doesn't know, the reason why is because we would be fined, or our bill would go up if we didn't do that, and mixed garbage went to the Central Newfoundland Waste Management Facility, and so it would drive our costs of disposing of our waste up. So it's very important that citizens continue to do this, or if they haven't been doing it, to start doing it. And also, a few people have been texting me today about the recyclables. Recyclables are also supposed to go in a container, the same as the garbage. It doesn't have to be a separate container. It can all go in the same container. Councillor Cody has said this for a nice few meetings now, but it can go in the same container, but it must be, it can't just be left by the side of the garbage container. It has to be in something. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Little. Councillor Dwyer.
Thank you, Mayor. Today is International Women's Day, so I would like to acknowledge a couple of groups of women. The first are some of our female employees who are working in non-traditional jobs. Jessica Sanders and Nicole Keats, who was recently hired with the town as an electrician, and Jessica Reed, who is a volunteer firefighter. And these positions come with challenges, and certainly as a female, additional challenges sometimes. So I certainly want to acknowledge those employees and volunteers. Also, new moms. We mentioned them earlier, some new mothers taking part in some of our programs, but newborn days can certainly be isolating at the best of times, but during this pandemic, it's often meant that new moms are with little to no family help, and it's certainly been challenging. And I just want to let them know that they're doing a wonderful job, and it gets better, put it that way. So congratulations and thank you to them.
Thank you, Councillor Dwyer, are you done?
One more thing. March is National Pharmacist Month, and I think I said last meeting that there's a day and month for everything, but I just wanted to thank our local pharmacists for providing important healthcare services in our community. That's everything.
Thank you for that. Okay, moving along, Deputy Mayor Brown, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to acknowledge a couple of residents now who celebrated milestones during the past 2 weeks in our community. The first being Anne Burke, celebrated her 90th birthday. Anne's been a good friend for a long time, and I always admired her great sense of humor. And Anne was born on February 29th, so she only gets to celebrate her birthday actually 22 times, I guess, in the last 90 years. But congratulations, Anne, and on behalf of council, congratulations on your special day. And also, Mayor, another resident, Phoebe Hennessy, celebrated her 90th birthday as well. So congratulations, Phoebe. Got to hear some nice stories about Phoebe and when she moved to the former town of Windsor back in 1936 and has been here now 86 years. So congratulations, Phoebe, as well on your special day. And certainly an honor for me to present both Anne Burke and Phoebe Hennessy with their town of Grand Falls-Windsor certificates on behalf of the mayor and council. And that's all I have for this evening, Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Brown. Councillor Cody.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have a couple of things tonight. First thing I want to mention is our Director of Public Works and Development just informed me via text that our new street sweeper is scheduled to arrive on March the 28th. So my response to him immediately was, perfect. I can't wait to use it March 29th because we're not going to have any snow left and it's going to be spring-like weather. So fingers crossed that that is the case, but I just want to say that, you know, the street sweeper, we do use it a lot, not just for cleaning the roads to keep debris off, to keep it from getting into our sewer system, but also for the safety of motorists and motorcyclists in particular. It keeps the sand off the road. It keeps the roadways clear from debris, rocks, sand, you know, a lot of sanding materials that we use over the winter months and stuff. It, you know, builds up, collects on the street, and can certainly take away from the traction that is meant to be there from your tires on asphalt. So we're excited about that. And I know our crews who will be riding in that vehicle and operating that vehicle will be excited as well. So we're looking forward to that addition. Again, with the new pumper truck, that's a lot of money spent by the town of Grand Falls-Windsor on equipment that is necessary to perform the operations that we do in this town, from fire services to road maintenance and equipment. So again, looking forward to receiving that new piece of equipment. Also, just to echo Councillor Dwyer, on International Women's Day, there are so many magnificent women in this community and right across the province that deserve recognition, not just on International Women's Day, but every day. And you know, the theme of this year's International Women's Day is break the bias. And we are making inroads when it comes to, you know, gender equality and pay equity, and certainly in, you know, mentioning the employees that Holly mentioned that are in the non-traditional roles of firefighter, electrician, and heavy equipment operator. It's amazing to see, and they are so good at their job, and we're so proud to have those strong females working in our organization, as well as all the other females we have working in the organization as well. So thank you to everybody for, you know, everything that you do for, you know, on the political side, you know, Councillor Dwyer, myself, in chambers there tonight, or well, not in chambers, but online, you know, Robin Hannaford and Kara Hutchinson, instrumental to the organization as well. So just, you know, keep up the great work, and we will take this day and we will celebrate this day, but we will also celebrate each other every day. So, but we do appreciate having a day designated just to women for sure. And on another note, I'll put my M&L hat on just for a moment. I have been talking quite a bit and very frequently about regionalization. It's certainly an important topic for the province, and I mean, Grand Falls-Windsor, we do have a strong partnership. We kind of follow the rules of or the concept of regionalization now in several ways in our partnerships that we have with Bishop's Falls, Botwood, Peterview, and Northern Arm on the sharing of water, fresh, clean drinking water, animal control services, fire and emergency services. Our fire department and the Bishop's Falls Fire Department cover for each other when emergencies arise, or even, in the case of the firefighters annual banquet. When Grand Falls-Windsor has theirs, Bishop's Falls firefighters will cover dispatch for us, and vice versa. It's cooperation, it's a partnership. It's just, it's a way of providing services to our regions to keep us all sustainable. There's a lot of talk, there's a lot of concerns, obviously, from local service districts and unincorporated areas. We do have some of those areas in our region, in the central region. And their questions and concerns are valid, and we welcome the opportunity to hear them. M&L has done several webinars with the membership to update them on what's in the report and how the report will roll out and what the concepts are for regionalization. And more webinars will follow. So I would encourage all councillors, not just in Grand Falls-Windsor, but across the province, to participate in those webinars to make sure when people do ask you questions about it and how it will affect them, that you can give them the appropriate information, or at least be informed as to what's happening. Municipalities will govern the same way we've always governed, and larger municipalities will be exempt from this process as well, even though, they can certainly still participate, but it's just about growing and strengthening our communities and our regions and making us sustainable. So looking forward to continued conversation on that. And it's important, in our province, if we want to continue to move ourselves forward and be attractive to bringing in people to our province as well. So that's all I have to say tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cody. Just got a couple of things to mention. Was brought up earlier before the meeting, I believe, actually, by the councillors about the incident in town last night, which required RCMP attention. And glad to see that everybody is okay after that, and there was no major injuries or anything. But our municipal enforcement officers were called upon by the RCMP to take care of the traffic perimeter. And we not only heard through the media reports, but also we received an email from the staff sergeant, Kelly Bryan. He was letting us know how professional and how big of a help that our municipal enforcement were by effectively holding that perimeter and making sure that the traffic wasn't getting close to the scene. So I just wanted to pass that along. And as always, a great job by our MEOs. Also, I want to send out congratulations to Jim Ralph and Sherry, who now have their new location opened, Jim's Value Grocer on King Street, the former Booth Memorial High School, now is a grocery store. He's moved from his location just down the road on 13th Avenue. And I know that it took a lot of work and a lot of patience and a lot of diligence on Jim and his family's part to get this move completed. I haven't been able to make it by the store yet, but I plan to drop by this week. And I congratulate Jim. I hear it's a very beautiful store and encourage everybody to check it out. And lastly, a lot of talk, obviously, these days with the world we live in, and you look around and sometimes you have to shake your heads, but the economic hit on people has been difficult enough. But now with the price of gas continuing to increase and the price of groceries continuing to increase, people who were finding it tough, which are a lot of people right in our own community, are finding it tougher. So, if you find a way that you can support someone by giving them a hand, the food banks always come to mind. Salvation Army Food Bank and the Grand Falls-Windsor Bishop Falls Community Food Bank. You may have never given to the food bank before, but now is a good time. Like if you could get together a box of food or two, or make a donation and drop it by the food banks, it would certainly help, because there are a lot of people who are dependent on our food banks to put food on their tables. And that's just the reality of the situation we're living in now. And I wanted to encourage everybody to do that if you can and if you're able. So with that, I don't have anything else. I assume nobody else has anything to add. Okay, so I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
Counselor
moved.
Dwyer.
Counselor Cody,
I think I got Councillor Dwyer, and even though Deputy Mayor was first, is International Women's Day, so Councillor Cody is seconding the adjournment. And any discussion? And hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay, we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.
Everybody be
I'm Gordon Pinsent, and welcome to the wonderful town of Grand Falls-Windsor.